Good morning students. Welcome to your English class. I am Sangeeta Verma, TGT English KV47 second shift Chandigarh. Dear students, today we are going to read the third poem A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris from the book First Flight. So dear children, let's begin. Before proceeding with the poem, I will give you a brief introduction of the poet. George Leslie Norris was a prize-winning Welsh poet. He was born on 21st May 1921. He is considered as most important Welsh writers of the post-war period, and his literary works have won many prizes. His famous works are Finding Gold, The Loud Winder, Phoenix Living Poets series, Ransoms, etc. Now let's begin with the poem. I will explain difficult word meanings, explanation of the various stanzas, and explanation of the various poetic devices used in this poem. In this poem, the poet contrasts a tiger in the zoo and a tiger living in his natural habitats. He notices a great difference between the two. He feels that a tiger is happy enough in its natural surroundings rather than in a zoo. The captive life troubles the tiger, and he yearns for freedom and wants to lead his natural life in the jungle. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. In his natural surrounding, the tiger is happy and joyful, but in a cage, he is full of rage and trouble. The poem shows the great importance of freedom. The first stanza of the poem is: he stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his case, on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rays. Here the poet says that a tiger is confined in the zoo, moves around in the case under his bright colored skin. He further says that the tiger can take only a few steps because the cage is small and it is not easy to move in it. One cannot hear its sound because of his soft pads of the velvet. He tried to control his anger. He is angry because he is in a cage. Here, the stalk means follows. Vivid, bright color, the skin of tiger. Pads, paws of tiger. Rays, anger. The tiger is in a angry mood. Rhyme scheme used by the poet in the first stanza is A, B, C, B. He stalked in his vivid stripes the few steps of his case. Now case, the word case is rhyming with the word rays. So the rhyming scheme is A, B, C, B. The literary devices used in the poem are personification. Here, the tiger is personified because the poet refers him as he. Another poetic device is metaphor. Tiger paws are compared with velvet, soft pads of velvet. Now the third literary device is used by the poet is imagery. Poet tried to create an image about the tiger. When the line he stalks in his vivid stripes, the poet is creating the image of a tiger, the few steps of his cage. Another poetic device is consonance, use of S sound in the word stalks, his, stripes. S in the stalk, S in the his, and S in the stripe. Another assonance, use of vowel sound I in his vivid stripes, vivid I, and in stripes I. Another is oxymoron. Oxymoron, use of adjective opposite in meaning, quite raise. The first stanza, the fourth line, quite and raise. Two opposite adjectives are used by the poet. Now come to the second stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through a long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. Lurking means to be hidden as to wait for the prey. In the second stanza, the poet tells that the different movements of the tiger. The tiger is in his natural habitat, in a jungle. There he hides himself in the shadow. In the long grass, he slips and glides so that he may reach. Again, the same rhyming scheme is used in the second stanza, A, B, C, B. The word grass, pass. Literary devices, alliteration, the use of sound per at the start of the two words plump and pass. Injectment is also used by the poet. The line continues to next line without punctuation mark, sliding through deer pass. Another poetic device is imagery. The poet has tries to create an image of tiger's activity, lurking in the shadow. In upcoming slide, let's discuss third stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. The word snarling means warning sound made by animals, and baring uncovered. Fangs, the sharp tooth of animal. In the third stanza, the poet tells us that while giving the activities of a tiger in his natural habitat, the poet tells the tiger near the corners around the house is located at the outskirt of the forest speaks angrily. Now, in the third stanza, the tiger in his natural habitat, that is, he is in a forest. He shows his teeth and claws to create or to spread feeling of terror among the people living in the village. Rhyme scheme of the third stanza is ABCB again, and the literary devices used by the poet are onomatopoeia, using the word which denotes sound. In the first line of the third stanza, the word is snarling. It's a sounds related with the tiger. Assonance, use of vowel sound O and I. Should, around, houses. In these words, sound O. The vowel O is used. And bearing, his, white, his. Again, the vowel sound I used. Consonants, use of consonant sound S in the words his, fangs, claws. S sound is repeating again. Dear students, let's discuss fourth stanza. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Here the word concrete means the materials which are used to make building. Materials like bricks, cement, sand and water. Now the poet comes to the reality of the tiger, that he is inside the cage. The tiger is confined in a strong cell which is made by strong building material, concrete cell. He is in captivity. In other words, we can say he never tried to terrorize the visitor because his power is restricted by the cage. So he does not like to see the visitor. He just ignores them who have come to see the tiger in the zoo. He just ignores them because he is very sad. ABCB rhyme scheme is followed. Bars, visitors. Literary devices are personification. The tiger is personified because the poet refers him as he. Assonance, use of vowel sound E. In the word he, locked, concrete, cell, the vowel sound E is used. Consonants, use of consonant sound S, his, strength, bars. Another poetic device is alliteration. Use of sound B at the start of two words, behind bar. Dear students, let's concentrate on the fifth stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Patrolling means to guard. The poet says that in the night, the tiger hears the sound of patrolling cars. Patrolling cars are the vehicle of police which are used to guard at night. He then stares at the shining stars with his shining eyes because the tiger is behind the bars. Rhyme scheme. AB, CB. Cars, stars. Poetic device is personification. The tiger is personified because the poet refers him as he. Personification when we refers non-human or inanimate object to any human quality. Here the poet used the word he for the tiger. Dear students, now discuss extract based 1 mark question. Stanza 1. He stalked in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rays. So the question number 1 is, who is he? Of course, the tiger. The answer is the tiger. Question number 2. How does he walk in the cage? Answer, in a proud manner. Question number 3. In what mood is he? He here means the tiger. Answer, anger, sad. Question number 4. Which words in the stanza show the following meaning? Anger. For anger, the word rays is used in the first stanza. Bright colored. Answer is vivid. Second stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Question number 1. Name the poem and its poet. So, the name of the poem is A Tiger in the Zoo and its poet is Leslie Norris. Question number 2. Where should the tiger be now? In the second stanza, the tiger is in the jungle. Question number 3. For what should he be lurking? Answer, for its prey or for its food. Question number 4. Where does the deer usually pass? Answer, near the water hole. Question number 5. Give the synonyms for the word plump. So the answer is fleshy or fat. Second one is large. In the upcoming slide, these are short questions. Give your answer in 30 to 40 words. Question number 1. How does the tiger walk about in the cage? What are his emotions? Answer. The tiger in the cage walks in a proud manner. He is in anger because he is shut in a small cell. He is helpless and cannot come out. Question number 2. Where should the tiger be? Answer. The tiger should be in the jungle. He should be moving slowly in the low grass near a water hole to kill his prey. Question number 3. How is the tiger in the cell? How does he react to the visitor? Answer. The tiger is not comfortable in the cell. It is not his natural habitat. He is in anger also. He walks inside the cell feeling uneasy and angry. He does not pay any attention to the visitor. He ignores them. He has no interest in them. Question number 4. Where is the strength of the tiger and how does he treat the visitor? The strength of the tiger is behind the bar. He is imprisoned in a cell. He takes no interest in the visitor. Question number 5. How does the tiger feel in the cage? Answer. The tiger is not comfortable in the cell. It is not his natural habitat. He is in anger also. He walks inside the cell feeling uneasy and angry. Now, thinking about the text. Question number 1. How does the tiger terrify the villager? Answer. If the tiger is in his natural habitat, he growls at the villager who pass by at that way. He also shows his fangs and bright claws to the villagers to terrify them. Question number 2. How does the poet contrast the tiger in the zoo with the tiger in the jungle? Dear students, it's a very important question. Answer. The tiger in the zoo is not free. He feels uncomfortable in the limited space of cell. But the tiger in the jungle is happy. He is free to move anywhere. In upcoming slide, we will discuss about long question, 100 to 150 words. Love for freedom is the natural instinct of every living being. Comment. Answer. It is rightly said that love for freedom is the natural instinct of every living being. Everyone loves freedom and does not want to live in confinement. Similarly, the tiger also longed for freedom. He was so fed up being caged that he even ignored the visitors. He took to and fro steps in the cage, as if trying to while away the time. The tiger wanted to escape this captivity. God has made all living beings equally, and thus the animal too have the right to freedom. They should not be caged. It is their right to enjoy their natural habitat, that is, the forest, and run freely in the wild. We should thus respect their freedom and should not put them in the zoo. Dear student, this is long extra question and it is very important question. Give your answer in 100 to 150 words. Animals, big and small, is being used by human for their selfish ends. What is your opinion regarding the exploitation of animals? Mention some examples that you can see a possible solution to this problem. Answer. It is true that animals, big and small, are being used by humans for their selfish ends. We use them for our own benefits. Animals are killed, poached, and captured for commercial benefits. Humans have encroached on their space and sheltered them in zoos, which is truly inhuman. In the poem, the poet has shown the plight of a tiger. He is captured and confined in a small cage. He is frustrated, angry, and restless. It longs for freedom. Confinement brings bondage, and bondage is cruelty. Every day, we see many animals suffering due to humans. Monkeys, bear, captured and made to dance on road. Elephants are chained and forced to lift heavy loads. Many animals are sheltered in zoos for the entertainment of human beings. They are kept in a poor conditions. Now it's a time for assignment. So dear student, it is your homework. Question: what message does the poet want to convey through the poem A Tiger in the Zoo? Thank you very much, dear student.